Okay, so it's April 20th. This is your weekly virtual art class, and a lot of what this class is going to be is finishing up kind of what I introduced last week. So if you are watching this replay video and you haven't watched the class replay from last week, I really highly recommend that because that's where most of the information on what you're actually doing is. If you are missing any assignments, we've had a few different things due since we got out of school. It's been your Zentangle silhouette. It's been recreating our historical piece. It's been brainstorming 10 things that you would like with you in the coronavirus crisis, which leads into this assignment for this week, which is going to be due on Friday. So I'm going to share the screen here, and I want to share with you guys what you turn in next week. So. And I uploaded this PowerPoint to last week's assignment, but at 2:30 today, this will be uploaded again just in case you didn't see it. So essentially, you got this template. I told you to just make sure you've drawn out this room. And when you draw out this room, guys, you need to make sure it looks like it's in perspective. Otherwise, it's just a flat piece of paper. And how is anybody supposed to know that it's an actual room? And what that means is those lines that go backwards at an angle, that is putting them in perspective. It's making it look like that room is going back into the distance. I mentioned that if you don't have a printer and you don't feel comfortable drawing these stairs, you can draw different stairs or you cannot include them. Maybe your ideal space doesn't have stairs, but I think it adds a little bit of interest to the room. And on this link right here, coronamason.fun, and I found out, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but Mason means house, so it's like Corona house. If you click this link, which for some reason seems to be taking forever because my internet is awful in my home. But if you click this link, then it's going to show you, I'll just go back to this real quick. It shows you work from people that are done with different ages. So this was obviously done by somebody a little bit younger, but they still have tried to put things in perspective. And what that means is they've tried to like make things look like they were going back in the distance and tried to add little details on here. So even if yours isn't the most sophisticated thing that you've ever seen in the entire world, I can tell whether or not you've put effort in, and I think you know that too, right? So some people have just drawn onto the template that they've printed out. Other people have done it digitally. This looks like a digital drawing. If you have an iPad or any kind of digital surface and you know how to do digital drawing, you're welcome to tackle it that way. This person even did it on a chalkboard, which I thought was a really cool take on the assignment. They drew their own little ladder instead of steps. And again, like, none of these things are super complex. Like this window is pretty simple here, and so is this little tree. But they added a lot of detail, and that makes you think, oh, okay, like I understand where they would like to be in this coronavirus crisis. And then there's other professional artists that have posted theirs on that website as well. And so what I want you to notice with these examples, or if you look at that website for examples, or the examples that I showed last week, is some of the different things that have been incorporated into the rooms. And so the first place I would start is considering, like, do you want a window? What's going to be outside of the window? Do you want like a door over here? Do you want like another room like I showed you with some of the examples last week? This one has a skylight, which I think is pretty cool, and it has like a trap door situation where people can come down from here, or maybe it's like an attic. I guess that would make more sense. But what things do you want your, like, the structure of your room to be? So in my office that I'm sitting in right here, I have a big window right here, and I wouldn't want to be trapped in somewhere without a window for months and months on end. So you might want to consider that. And there's just a bunch of different ways that people tackled it. Again, varying levels of skill. I just want to see that you tried, because it can be pretty simple doodles, right? Like this isn't a very complex doodle right here, this little painting on the wall, but they added a lot of detail, and that's what makes this look a little interesting, even though it's like kind of stick figure level stuff. This one was even done with like kind of copy and pasting digitally. So you got gamer chairs. So if you know how to do those things, you're welcome to. I'm not going to require that kind of stuff, but a lot of the times you can use digital tools like Google Draw to literally copy and paste images on top of each other. I love, this is one of my favorite ones because this is like really unique to me, that has a little wall nook, and they created their own little staircase with their own little details. And so I like the concept that maybe you can draw your own staircase or your own take on that. This one was done digitally as well, I think. And if you want to draw your room an accurate perspective, what that means is if you want to know how to make things look like they're going back in the distance, I've included this YouTube resource here for you, just for time's sake. And my classes are supposed to be really short, quick, straight to the point. I'm not going to like do that demonstration for you on here, but I'm going to go and stop my share real quick. Your assignment, well, I'm going to talk about the assignment first. So your assignment is just, again, last week we brainstormed our ideal things that we were going to put in our quarantine space. So here are the qualifications for that assignment. Number one is to draw and detail your ideal space. So in detail means like even if you aren't doing the most elaborate drawings, like if you draw a couch, what could be on the couch? Could it be there? Could there be potato chips by you? Could there be a cat by you? Could there be if you drew a window, like could you draw something outside versus just drawing a window opening? So thinking about, again, you start with, hey, Emily, I'm almost done, but you can watch the replay too. But this is actually me just going back over this assignment here. But I'm actually going to stop the share real quick. So if you start with this, the first thing I would do is think, okay, do I want a window? Do I want a door? Do I want a rug on the carpet? Like that kind of stuff. And then you could think, okay, what furniture would be in there? It's kind of like you're building a room. Like if you have a blank room and you're trying to decorate it or design it, like what would be in it? And then after that, you're like, okay, like what patterns or what extra little details can I add? What things can I add in here? And so I'm going to share that assignment screen again. And this is again in that PowerPoint. But draw and detail your ideal quarantine space. At least 5 of the 10 things that you wrote on your list that you submitted to me need to be included. So obviously, I would probably include more than that because if I just put, if I took this empty room and I just put a cat, an iPad, my sketchbook, me, and a water bottle in there, like that would look kind of sad and lonely. And so you probably want more than that, but I want you to really like personalize it by putting at least 5 of those 10 things in there. I would recommend, again, like looking up things that are within your skill level. So if you feel like you're a more beginner level drawing person, then look up easy doodles of basketballs and incorporate that. Okay, so it's okay if it's at your skill level. If you are somebody that's a little more detailed and wants to create your own things based off complex drawings and images and looking up YouTube videos on how to draw things, that's fantastic. But you just kind of got to go with your own skill level on that. Consider giving the room different qualities. I already talked about that. Okay with doodles, but add detail. I can tell whether something took somebody 5 minutes or 20, okay? And then draw light until you get it right. So if you have this printed out or if you've started a really detailed thing, I recommend that you draw super lightly so that way you can mess up and it not be a big deal because we shouldn't be afraid to be bad at something new. And so after you're finished, you just take a picture and you upload it to Google Classroom. So I try to keep this lesson like really quick, really straight to the point because I want you to have time to actually draw into it and turn it in. It's due on Friday. And so I wanted to actually show you guys with the document camera different ways to draw things, but I didn't want to do that for time's sake. It might take like an hour-long class to do that, which I'm not supposed to do, but also I want to make sure I'm meeting everybody with the things that they need. And so if you you're a resourceful human. And so if you want to draw a basketball, look up a YouTube video on how to draw a basketball if you can't figure it out by looking at simple doodles. But also if you want to know exactly how to draw something in a room in a specific space, then send me an email and I'll do a little demo for you and I can send it to you. So that's definitely okay to do that. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to go and stop the recording.